Hey, welcome to the Build It Basement. Today we're going to be working on our gantry on our VORON 2.4. I'm going to make this probably about a 20 to 30 minute video, so we're not going to get all the way through that gantry. So this is probably going to be a part 1 and 2, maybe a part 3. This is probably one of the most complicated, most complex portions of the physical mechanical build of the printer, aside from the electronics. So with that, let's get it started. So what we're looking at here is a complete gantry for the VORON 2.4. So you have your X and your Y, you have your movement pieces, you have your belt guides, you have everything there, your rails, your print head, just about everything that you're going to have when you're completed. Dual rail assembly here. I've seen some other folks building VORON, as you probably have too. I'm sure I'm not your first video, probably not your last. And some people are saying use a single rail, do not put the double rail on there. I have not seen an exclusive or a very poignant reason as to not use two rails. The only thing I can probably come up with is the fact that you are going to have slightly more drag, but from somebody that's had a decent amount of ringing and plans to print quickly, I don't know if it's going to negatively impact me or not. So I'm going to go ahead and go by the manual here. I'm going to do both rails. So grab some parts here. We're going to need 2 of our linear rails from our FORMBOT kit. Two guys right there. We're going to need, let's see here, this would be our extrusion for this, which is almost the same length as the rail. Our centering guides, and some M3 by 8 screws. We can do 4 and 4, give or take. So let's see how many we got there. We got 3, 4, 4, and a couple more just in case we need them. And they're not showing it, but I am pretty sure we are going to need some T-nuts to put these guys on. So I'm just going to grab a handful of those. Couple handfuls of those. So we wind up with that. All right. Again with my magnet. Keep those all together so we don't lose any. And so once again, we have our rail, our extrusion, our 2 rails, our rail guides to make sure we get those nice and centered, and our hardware right there. All right. So basically what we're looking at here is it's probably too close. There we go. Getting these guys on. So one is going on the front surface, front to me, and one is going to be on the bottom surface. So one here and one like so. Since we're working the way we are here, yeah, it looks like we need 4 of these. I'm just going to slide them in. A little bit easier this time around. And they're showing 4. We'll go ahead and see here. 1, 2, 3. Now we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3. Let's get 4, 5. I say we go 6 on these. If we run short on screws, we can get more. I don't see how having more points of connection will be detrimental to the build. Get those round about where we're going to want them. Just kind of evenly space them. And there we go. So we'll go there and up there, and then skip 2, go third, skip 2, go third, skip 2, go third, skip 2, go third, skip 2, go third. All right, equally spaced. Look at that. We'll get these started. When tightening the fastener, hold the linear rail in place. Ensure you have it attached to the center rail installation guide, top and bottom. You should have 2 printed, as we do. So, let's get this started here. There's 1 there. You get the right size tool for the job, right? All right. That one. Move on to the next one. I'm not going to tighten these up too much. I'm going to leave them relatively loose. I'm just trying to get a couple threads in each one so I can slide this around, because I'm pretty sure we're going to want to, well, for one, we're going to want to center it, but for 2, we're probably going to want to center it laterally as well on the extrusion at some point. So whoop. So if you haven't caught the other videos, all the parts on this build for my VORON 2.4 have come from a FORMBOT kit, which I purchased from the FORMBOT website. That screw is junk. So there are some parts that are slightly subpar, but for the most part things have been workable. Nothing's been too horrible. We've made just about everything work. Obviously, if you take the time, you could source better parts. But there'd be a lot of time involved in doing that. Something I don't have a ton of. So I'm just gonna slightly snug these up. Now slap that on, slap that on, and they don't say anything here on where they want these on the extrusion, left or right. So I'm going to eyeball them, and we're possibly going to have to move these a little bit when the time comes, but we'll make it work when that happens. What are these screws? Why am I having trouble with this tonight? Well, there we go. All right. So we go ahead and tighten these up a little bit. Go. Pop that off. Get this guy on the bottom. Yep. And we'll slide these in. So again, I've seen multiple videos, conversations, and written word on 1 versus 2 in terms of these rails. Specifically in the manual, this is called the dual rail install. So I gotta think at some point somebody thought it was a good idea. For what reason it wouldn't be, I do not know. It seems to make more sense to me that it's a good idea versus not being a good idea. So, like I said before, I'm going with it. I've also said before, I'm trying to stick to the actual build manual as closely as possible. I fully suspect that after this is built, it will be tweaked. And that will be fun for all of us as well. Give me a hard time there. Alright, we need a couple more screws. Slide this a little bit that way. So if you're watching this and you're building a VORON 2.4 or thinking about building a VORON 2.4, I'm coming from an Ender 5, a heavily modified Ender 5, but I'm basically, my reasoning is, for one, I enjoy building things, and that's probably first and foremost. I'm sure I can build or buy, maybe not for the same price, but I could probably buy something that's as capable as this will be. But more than that, I enjoy building things, and that's kind of the majority of it. Well, that's fun. I guess that guy won't really sit on it very well. I wonder if that's why they moved right away from doing dual rails. That center tool does not really fit all the way down. And that's why we're doing it, right? See what we can see. So I guess possibly that was part of the reason. These tools that you print to center your rails have these little nubs on the ends of them that fit down over your extrusion so that you can line them up. It seems like they're not fitting all the way down because I already have a rail on the other side. I don't think it's affecting me all that much, but if I did push on them, it definitely would wiggle and move that rail pretty bad. So something to be aware of if you are building and you're following the manual and you are using 2 rails. I'm guessing everybody would notice that. Again, it's one of those things I think anybody that's building this would notice, but if you don't, or just put it out there, make sure you're not pushing those too far down. Once they go and hit the other rail, they'll start to twist and twist your rail at the same time. All right. So there we go. All right, let's see where we're at here. That looks just about what we got in the picture. Well, it's pretty much exactly what we have in the picture, so we'll go from there. And there is our dual rail on page 47 of the VORON build manual. And we're going to set that guy aside. Actually, we'll put him right up here. And we're on to the left XY joint assembly. Let's see here. I've already pulled parts. Try to make this go a little bit quicker for everybody. I know it's fun to watch somebody build something, but it only works for so long. So we have our, these are the top sections. Let's see here. Top sections, bottom sections of this part build. And we're going to be using these along with M540s. Grab those. We're going to need, looks like 7 of these. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. 7 of those. And we're going to need 2 bearings, flange bearings. We're going to need an idler. There. We're going to need a couple of shims. Where did I do my shims? Oh, there we go. Looks like 2 shims. Whoop. A few too many right there. And some M5 hex nuts. M5 hex nuts. Where are they? Right there. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Yep. All right. So first things first, we're going to, let's see here, if we can find exactly which part we have. All right, we have this one. This one has 4 of the M540s in it. One of them is going to have that on it. Okay, and then those 2 screws. All right. So it looks like I'm going to be placing 1, 2. That doesn't look right. That doesn't look right. The reason it doesn't look right is because of that. Let me see, which one is this made up with? So, take these back out. Let's see what we have. So, we need this one. So this one has an indent here, whereas this one has an extrusion up there. So on top we have an L shape here, on this one we do not. So I believe we're looking at this one because our idler is going to go into this spot right here. So we need to find the matchup for that, which seems like seems like it should be this one. I'm a little confused on that. Well, we'll do what it says. Alright, so take this. This is going to be there, there, there. It still looks like it's going here, but it's obviously printed so it goes through. It's very odd. Alright, idler is going on this guy, and then this one has supposedly the stack. So spacer, flange down, flange up, and spacer. And this is going to sit, supposedly, something like that. And this confuses me, but okay. Well, based on the picture, that is in there the way it needs to be. And who might argue? Okay. So then we need our, let's see here. We have that, we have that, we have that. Then they're showing, now I'm confused again. Those definitely have space in them for the M5s. So those definitely nudged on the back side. I'm not sure about that picture. So let's get that. Okay. So idler, bearing stack. Let's see here. See previous examples how these assemblies work. Use the same bearings and fasteners used in other steps. A lot left imagination on that one, huh? So I believe that's what we have right there. But they're showing it. Okay, that's going down. Then they show that one blank. So the odd part about this is mine matches up pretty well with the picture on the right and the center, and the one on the far left just is different. So let's see why that is. We're building two of these, I guess is the question. Well, here's the other one. So I'm not sure what the deal is with this picture up here. Mine does follow these ones, but there's almost a little mirroring issue happening here. Okay. So let's get down to here. We're going to be using the second one. Set that one aside. And our second one, let's see, this part's going to sit right about like that. And then it looks like we're going to be putting that, 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 and it looks like we're going to need another M5 by 40, which is not an issue. And we're going to need two more bearings, 2 more spacers, and 3 more nuts. I thought about opening this video by saying something along the lines of how entertaining it is to watch somebody with as much brain matter as an avocado build something created by a bunch of engineers and some software devs, but I don't want anybody to feel bad for me. Alright, so we got those 3 there. This guy's going to be floating through. I get it. So our idler is... where's our other idler? Our other idler. We're also going to need that. So our other idler is going to be on this. Which is odd. That's the opposite of that one. Really odd. Okay. And then based on that configuration, alright, this guy, out of the 4 there, this guy's going to get the stack on it. So we're going to go spacer, flange down, flange up, spacer. Okay. And then we're going to see how this goes on here, which to me they show the bottom side of this like that. They show the idler like that. So it looks like something like this. What I don't get is the idler part. I mean, it really doesn't make any sense. There's nothing holding that screw in whatsoever. Unless it's just locking it there. See, that'd be a good place for some additional notes. Something along the lines of note, the M5x40 holding the idler is not directly attached. Something. Just so you know you're not screwing it up. But tighten this up a little bit further. Might be a little bit too much on that one. Alright, so it does seem like the idler is grabbing in the plastic. So they are free spinning. They're both there. So I believe that would be our right XY joint assembly. Idlers and bearings, or idlers and bearings. From there, we're going on to, looks like we're going to, let's see, when are we putting on the, looks like we got to put on something on top of the second one we built, which is, I don't know which one it is. It is this one. All right. This one right here. So this is getting that put on it. So they show it with the idler facing that way, and then this facing. I get it, like that. Okay. So I'm going to assume they're going to get to that, because I don't see anything about what size bolts or bolts to use on that or anything like that. So we'll set that aside for a moment and see where we stand. Okay, so to page 50, the micro switch pod. Micro switch pod. Okay. And time to find some parts. Okay. So it looks like they're both accent parts. And we're going to have to do some heat inserts. Start up that soldering iron. Actually, what tip is in there? Yep. I got my heat cert tip in there. So we're going to need 1, 2, 3 heat certs. I've done a video on how to put these in. It's pretty simple. You'll see me do it again. I hate doing things multiple times on a video, but we'll have that set up. So those are going to go into this piece. Let's see here. Why does it look? I guess it's that 3D look to it. Okay. So they're going to go into this piece, even though there's no back to them. Is that correct? Yep, they're going to go on the top here. So I'm going to find some way to support that while I do this. So I can try to get them as straight as possible. I think that'll work. Okay, so we got those 3 to put into that. And then we got some micro switches. Two micro switches. And those, well, let's see, that's heated up. All right, we can get those going. So let's see if we can get these in real quick. Sit down to do this. So I gotta be really careful with these ones, because unlike all the other ones we've done, there's an abyss underneath these ones. I have a feeling that a little bit too much heat and a little bit too much, you know what, actually, a little bit too much heat and a little too much force, and these things are just going to slide right on through this thing, which is not what we want. So I think I can hold this with one hand like this. And then let's do, my iron's at about 200 degrees Celsius. It's about 20% lower than the temperature I would print with on these parts. Being really careful not to go too far with these. They're pretty close together, and like I said, there's nothing below them, and this is a relatively small portion of ABS, so it would be really easy to go too deep on those. So there we go. You can almost, yeah, they're almost flush on the bottom as well. So there we have on those. That's all we need on those right now. Alright, so back to our screen. Alright, we got those nut certs done on that. So now we're on to micro switches with M2 by 10 self-tapping screws. Let's get those ready. 2 by 10 self-tapping screws. That right there. Alright. So we're going to need, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. So basically these are just going to screw in through the micro switch. The factory holes on those to hold them in. Just going to find the right size torque for those. That's too big. And let's see. Too big. Size of these. T6. T8, T6. Is that T6 or T7? Try T7. There you go, bingo. So if you get the FORMBOT kit, those are a T7 size screw head on those. And by the looks of things, we want to position our part like so. And like so. So just to show you what that looks like. And these ones we are leaving the spring metal flaps on them, unlike the other one that we did for the bed, for the Z axis. Where you're basically going directly into the micro switch. These ones are utilizing the flaps on them. It's like these just barely fit through these holes. There we go. Those, whoop, we almost lost our switch there. Seem to be fitting perfectly. There we go. I don't know if you can catch that. Like the sound of micro switches. And the other one is going to go that way. And little screws. Sometimes it makes things difficult. All right. Careful not to over tighten these. You could probably strip them out pretty easy. Remember that these are only going into the ABS. But they there's not going to be a lot of wear and tear on those, hopefully, unless you crash into those somehow. All right, so on we go here. Oh, some fun stuff. All right, looks like we're now connecting our XY block install. So that is going to basically go on what we previously built. And I see what they're doing there. They're on the photo on the left-hand side, the accent piece is getting bolted on to the actual, through the piece we built and then into some T-nuts on the frame. Okay, so that makes sense. All right, so I have one rail facing me to try to mimic what I have in front of me for a picture. And then we have our two pieces. Put that aside. And that. And which one was it? That is that way. Okay, so this guy is going on this side. Nope, that's not true. How is this sitting? That's odd. Okay. I see what we're doing. All right, there we go. Yep. So that's going to be like that on that side. And this is going to be like that on that side. And we have our rail on the under and rail on the front. Okay. And back to the picture here. This is going to go like that. Okay. So we're going to need 6 T-nuts and 2 M5 by 30s. Grab some T-nuts. 2 M5 by 30s. So that's an M3. M5s. M5 by 30s right there. There's 2 of them. You know, it's fun when you're working through a kit like this and you're starting to dwindle down on the amount of pieces. It kind of makes you feel good. It's only once you get down to the last couple of everything you start to worry that you don't have enough. So I'm sure that panic will set in here not too far from now. Let's see here, 2 M5 by 10s, 2 M5 by 16s. So 2, 2, and 2. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 T-nuts. Six. Okay. All right. Have a seat again. So it looks like dark hard to see black on black, but basically to it so I can mount to the rail that's going to be there. So we're going to need 2 T-nuts in the top section here, and I'm going to position those 1, yeah, 1. Whoops, what am I doing here? Putting them in upside down. I must be sleeping. 1, 2. Okay, and one's going to be on the bottom. Something like that. There we go. Actually, wait a second here. These are M5s. These are M3 T-nuts. Wrong ones. It's an interesting switch up on me. Alright. We'll throw these back into, and we'll grab our M5s. 6 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Try this again. Go 1. Go 2. And then 1 on the bottom. And I'm going to do the bottom. Do the bottom first. It's a single screw just to get it where I want it. Just a little bit harder to position, I think. Get that started. Just gotta get that in there by hand. There we go. And the top ones, wow, that is luck. They are already lined up for me. So that's where we need our 16s. So 116 there, 116 here. I lucked out with the positioning on those. Okay. And then, that's all loose, but it's there. That puts us on this side where we're going to position our 1 on the bottom, T-nut, M5, and then 2 on the top. Something like that. Get this lined up on the bottom. Like that. And then 2 on the top. Not as lucky this time, but not that far off. Alright, so up until this point, we've left on the stoppers, the rubber stoppers on our rails. Now that we have these on here, we shouldn't need those anymore. So, I have an inkling, and I might be wrong, but I'm going to go with it, that if we push those on firm, loosen these up a little bit. We push these on nice and firm. We should be to size exactly where we want to be. And we'll tighten those up. A little more than that. We'll just give it a little extra. There we go. About a quarter turn on those. All right. So that's our left-hand side with idler bearing for our belt. And on the right-hand side, we have bearing, idle, and cable guide, I'm guessing. Some sort. Something going on up there. Assume we get there. Again, I did both rails. I've seen, again, some talk and whatnot of doing a single rail as opposed to 2. I'm following the manual. That's all I can say about that. The manual says 2, going with 2. So, cutting the video off right there. We've done quite a bit tonight. Don't want to make the video too long. In part B of the video, we'll continue to make the gantry what it needs to be. Looks like there might be a part 3, but we'll see how far we can get through it on the second one. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Leave me a comment if you have questions. Leave me a comment if you saw something that needs to change, if you have built one of these. If you're in the process of building one and you have questions specific to where I got my kit or anything I didn't answer in any of the videos thus far, please do ask. If you're wondering what I've done in the past, go look back, look at the channel, look at the playlists. I started at page 1 and I've worked my way up to here. And then I guess, again, subscribe if you haven't yet. And I'll see you next time.